Take the flags to the front, then guys, or just stay here. I'll have a wander up in a bit, that's all right. Yeah. Then all of a sudden, just found the grip of the whack.
I'm glad to see that.
Did you live with yourself?
Hello, you alright?
Something happened to someone you love.
I got him to turn the coffee right off.
Your elderly neighbors
I told him to turn it
fearful
off.
to leave their door.
Yeah, no, I told him it all.
Your turnover, you made your lives become the distant memory of the place it was before. Would you have them in your house? Would you let them in? Would you feel it over best for them to sleep in? If I could.
And everyone went, what's happened? Like in the comments, what's going on? What's going on? Got a black screen. Yeah, that's not. It's got to delete it straight away. It's got to delete that line straight away.
Well, that's news to me. It's good news to hear.
Yeah, it's kind of
well,
you know, it's not something that is very good because it's probably
Morning, everyone. One world, one love. All right. What do you think about? What would you say to the Iranians that come here to get away from the death cult, and now they're following them here, supported by, I would imagine you. Any comment for them? They're getting stabbed. One's been stabbed 6 times by a terrorist, the IRGC. They came here to seek asylum. And now they're following them here. How about that? Any comment? No. Okay. Right. Love is every. Oh, here's my man. Where? Oh, that's so nice of you. Yeah. But what would you say to the Iranians that come? What would you say to the Iranians that come here to get away from the?
Sorry, I'm just going to hear you.
Yeah. What would you say to the Iranians that come here to get away from the IRGC and now they're following them here?
The vetting process picks people up who are criminals. There are people who are British-born criminals who, when they get arrested, are released back into the streets.
What about the woman that's been arrested in the camp, right, in Germany, and they won't send them back because the woman who was raped, her husband is threatening to kill him?
I don't know much about that because obviously I'm not aware of the judicial proceedings. However, I will say that shows that the vetting process works because now they've found a potential criminal. He's out of the camp.
They won't deport him because he's
But he'll go into a prison system. So he's off the streets. So it doesn't work.
Should we be paying for that?
Should we be paying for any other British criminal who commits a crime? That's my argument.
Yeah, he's not British.
No, but British people do commit crime. Should we pay for that as well?
But this is an imported crime, so it should be
I don't think whether it's imported or exported is a crime is a crime.
Yeah.
Take a look at the fact that during the World Cup, domestic abuse figures rise.
Yeah.
Should I go around and arrest every England football fan?
Yeah.
Or should I vet them all? At least because one of the things I've vetted, our football fans, for example, are not.
Yeah.
And there's criminals amongst football fans,
There
as
are.
it is touched. So,
But there's criminals.
how do you propose that?
Yeah, I know, but
How do you
everyone
propose we
is
handle
bad,
that?
yeah. But it's just the imported, it's importing more, and there seems to be a high proportion.
Importing
of,
implies that we are requesting it. We're not requesting it. Importing is like as if we request it. However, I would also say there was the gentleman who was volunteering with Copards, for example. That shows that there is an Antonio coming into the country who wants to do good.
Yes.
When his claim is granted,
Yes.
if it's granted, he will then go get a job and pay taxes.
Yes.
So we've got one bad, one
Yes,
good. Out
indeed.
of 500 so far,
Yep, fair.
that's
Yep.
the same for our society. Again, same with look at football fans. Many good football fans,
Yeah,
many
there
bad
are.
football fans.
There's good and bad everywhere,
Do
aren't
we
there?
tar people with the same brush,
Yeah.
or do we go case by case?
Yeah.
Take a look at what happened to the village of Ladis in World War II. Do you know the story
No,
of that?
I do not,
So the
actually.
story of that was, after a big famous, he was called the Butcher of Prague,
Yeah.
a German officer was killed by a Czech assassin.
Right.
It was linked to the village of Ladis.
Okay, where this is in...
Czechoslovakia.
Right.
It's the sister city of Stoke-on-Trent, I believe. And what happened was Adolf Hitler sent all of his stormtroopers in there, slaughtered 179 men, arrested all the women and children.
Yeah.
It was later found
Yeah.
that Ladis had nothing to do with the crime.
Right, yeah.
So that is a lesson
bit
to
heavy.
history that
Yeah.
we shouldn't tar an entire people
Yeah.
for the actions of one.
Yeah.
Because again, as I said, if
Yeah.
we arrested all the football fans,
Yeah.
we'd be going around to every single pub,
Yeah.
every single street, every single house. Where would it stop?
Yeah,
Where would it
but
end?
but then there's good and bad in every. There's like a lot of
Exactly.
bad, middle-aged women probably like me.
Exactly. So,
but it's
how do
less
we
likely
propose-
that I'll be going raping someone than an immigrant coming over that's got a different culture and different standards than us.
I would say that our culture, by that viewpoint, shows that that is also our culture.
Yeah.
Refuge, the leading women's charity, does show
Yeah,
that
yeah.
wanting for women.
Yeah.
I'll bring that up in a second, yes. So, Refuge shows that 1 in 4 women will experience domestic abuse in their life. This is by clearly males. So,
Yeah,
it's
we have
also
to
our
address. There's so
culture.
much to address.
So
isn't
what I
there?
think is, whilst your concerns are valid,
Yes.
I don't think it's fair to say that we're completely without sin. I think sin is
No
the
one
right word
is,
here.
yeah.
No one's without sin. So
Yeah.
thank you for agreeing with me on that.
Yes,
Thank you.
yeah. Well, thank you very much,
It's
my
okay.
friend. Nice to speak to
If
you.
you need a glass of water, by the way, we do have.
Oh, sorry, I've got some in my...
Okay.
Yeah, thank
Stay
you.
safe in this heat.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Be kind. Try to be the rainbow in someone's cloud. That's lovely. Be kind. It's very nice. Yes, I will. Thank you. Thank you. Hello. How are you today? Right, let's get this. No, you're madam. You're blocking that lovely lady's sign. There's no point in having signs if you're going to block them. Oh, I can't read hers. I'll read yours then. Okay.
I wouldn't say I'm angry or annoyed.
Who are you?
It is
On me.
disturbing that they go through and they
No.
are quite
No, she's
aggressive.
independent
You
auditor
see
online.
Yeah, I
Sorry, I
mean,
didn't listen to this to be
quite
recorded.
close to
okay,
us.
it's fine. Thank you. Oh my God, my back! Oh, help! Oh, thank you! That's very kind of you. Thanks for the break. I just want to get you one. That's the one sign again. Hello!
Cars from the small big picture.
to be patriotic. We can have opinions on certain.
There was no count up there.
Well, I'm just a double XL. When I've got with these t-shirts, they kind of fuck off, kind of sit and my belly keeps showing. You've got to keep tucking it in. Yeah, look, but if I tuck it in, it just makes it look a lot worse, you know?
I just wonder what it'd be like in like end up like surviving. And now
Wait for the next one.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
They have no numbers.
About the numbers on the march, so let me talk about this. Firstly, we obviously had a massive surge when the news broke in the first few weeks, as always happens whenever there's a big event when news is broken. It was never going to be thousands every single week. We are too far gone for that. We're now on 35, 36 weeks. I don't need to for that one. That's Joy saying, I've now turned 53, I can't remember what I'm going to say. So the idea has always been to maintain a core amount of people to continue and keep it all relevant, and that has been achieved. All these weeks we are still high in the media. We are still being watched all over the world, all over the country, to see how it all works out for our town. We remain the drive for other towns that are in similar situations, because as said before, we are not alone, and we must continue to support other towns, other communities, either on foot or social media, showing support and spreading their message. Believe me when I say this, it applies to those who say, oh, it's not an issue, what's the point in all doing this now, why are the marches still happening every single week? Well, what I say is it's more important than ever. We have increased numbers coming through the camp gates. They're either in situ or they've been supposedly processed. Now we know the processing system is absolutely shocking, which is why we just had the guy arrested from camp who was actually wanted for rape in Germany, and he's made it through several supposedly vetting procedures to end up in Crowborough. So that begs the question, how many more are down there that are supposedly been vetted? Because they certainly have not been checked. Now, every Sunday, the Home Office in Clear Springs watch us, by these guys, by people on the streets. And they want to see what we're doing, how many people are coming out. And they're fully aware that whilst we do this, they haven't got the police protection they normally have because they're out with us. So it does worry them. It puts pressure on them. And obviously, with the whole community now keeping an eye in town, this has rendered them still necessity to keep running buses supporting in other towns, because they do not want them on our streets, because they know they're going to be highlighted by you, the community, and any foot they put wrong is going to be put out to the media. So they're keeping them well out the town, and that's only because we are all doing what we're doing. We are doing nothing at all. We do get some numbers, obviously they're not following the camp guidelines and keeping it out of the town, but those numbers are small. So we are still safe at the moment. So, furthermore to that, last bit, alright. Now, something else we're also seeing is the increase of knife crime. Now, we see this, we've had knife crime in Uckfield very recently. We see it in other towns, there's stabbings, there's incidents. We know that from the camp, they are actually carrying blades from the barbers in town. So those ones, some of them you may see on the street, are more likely going to have a little blade tucked in their pocket, because that's what they do, that's what they used to in their communities, in their countries. So we do need to keep monitoring all this. Now that leads me to somebody I'm inviting on today, who's a campaigner for knife crime, having been through some of it himself. So I'll let him speak now, as Charlie Wedley. And a young man, so give me some support.
Hello everyone, it's lovely to be here today speaking to you all about knife crime. I want to thank Gary for letting me come along and talk about my situation. I won't talk too much about my story, but what I'll just tell you is knife crime is something that's growing and needs to stop. We all need to be aware of it, because I always say in all my talks, right, that night lasted seconds, but the trauma it's left me with has lasted years. And to be honest with you, that's the last thing you all want. So it's about being safe on the streets, being around people who you can trust, being aware of everything. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to end up a victim of knife crime. At only 15, it really traumatised and ruined their life. Now, I'm here today because it links together. Look, we're all trying to spread a bit of awareness to both things. And to be honest with you, both things are quite bad, and that's why we're here today, spreading awareness for something that can hopefully grow. But I want to thank everyone for letting me come, but I just want to say that if you can get away from knife crime, if you can stay away from that side of life, no matter whether, like what Gary said about being in the streets when they carry their razor blades, stay well away, be aware, know who's around you and what threats are going to come from it, because the last thing you want, like I said, is to end up a victim of knife crime. But look, 15 years old I became a victim of knife crime. I'm now 18, I'm going around schools, I'm going around youth clubs, and doing everything I can to spread awareness.
Yeah! Yeah!
Thank you. And this is what I want to do, and this is what I'll forever do. So from now on, I think you're going to see me a little bit more on Sundays, because this is what we need to do, and this is what we need to make a change for.
Yeah!
And it's not just in our crime, it's a Crowborough as well. I got stabbed in Crowborough outside my house.
Oh my
about
God.
20 seconds outside my house, and I couldn't make it home. Luckily enough, I got dragged home, but these are our streets, this is Crowborough, we do not stand for this, and we want to make awareness for it, just how we're doing it today. And I promise you, with my help and all of yours support, we will make the change. So thank you very much.
Yeah! Yeah!
Amazing words from a young man. Okay, we're going to have a quick one from, we'll let Andrew go next, sure? He's at a funny time of life, we have to get him on quick.
Lovely people of Crowborough. I was going to start with a song, but I actually wanted to hang around for a few minutes, so I won't. In all seriousness, this is from Kim of Crowborough Shield. She sent this to me this morning after a lot of conversations we've had. This is a statement she's asked me to make. So I quote, "Firstly, Alex and I are sorry we were unable to attend today's process. Following the recent announcement from the Home Office to extend the use of the council 2030, as we always know, this may require amendments to our claim. We are waiting to see what Shimon and Mahmood responds with our lawyers. Again, this is not free and we have to pay the lawyers to act. You have donated and raised around £7,000 through donations, pledges and a valuable gift in the last couple of weeks, which is incredible. Sadly, this is not enough to instruct the KC to prepare our argument. We still need 28,000 by tomorrow, as tomorrow is the deadline for us to instruct the KC. Right now, it doesn't look like we'll be able to proceed. Despite being stuck in Spain, we are still doing all we can, and we are reaching out to Vista, Parliament, Interlagos, MPs and councillors. However, the councillors and MPs are unlikely to contribute financially. I'm trying to reach their communities through the media and the social media. We, Kim and Alex, along with Jeff from North Eye and Bexhill, are happy to go to these towns and speak to their communities. The problem is these towns will take time to mobilise and organise, and therefore are unlikely to benefit our legal campaign. You guys can help by sharing Crowd Justice Link and the social media with their community groups to help bring those communities on board and donate if they so wish. The photo books are a great way to raise funds, and we will have a keepsake of what happened in Crowborough and how this community came together. Each book will give a minimum of £15 to the legal fund, but significantly, we need more to be ordered to raise the funds we need. We will be speaking with the legal team tomorrow afternoon, and I will update you on the decisions made and where we go from there. As always, thank you for everything you're doing, and we look forward to seeing you next week. One thing I'd like to add. Everybody's aware in the media of the announcement from the Home Office to bring on, or look at to bring on, 3 more sites. The MOD in Vista, the RAF in Linton on Ouse, and the RAF in Brampton. When we look at this, all 3 sites are roughly the same size in the capacity of the people they can take. Between 1,000 and 1,250 by the range. As they mentioned in 3,750, this seems to equate to the Home Office figures. Now when we look at these individually, and we don't yet know exact figures of the placements because this has not been released. So we can only base this on what we know at the moment by the capacity and the amount of people they want to place. And it seems pretty fair, that they're going to try and fill up each one, which would break the 3,750 equally across each 3 sites. If you look at Vista has a population in the mid-40s. So if you put 1,250 people there, with a population of 40-odd thousand, that's roughly on a par with what Crowborough is, with 600 on 22-odd thousand people. When you look at Linton on Ouse in Yorkshire, and the Brampton site on the north and Suffolk border, the populations of their villages are around 650 people. So if there's full placement in those, you're going to end up with a ratio of 2 migrants for every resident. If you were to apply that ratio to Crowborough, we would have 44,000 migrants here. And that's something to think about. The Home Office say they want minimal impact on communities. I wouldn't want to be in either of those 2 villages at the moment. I think I would be a little bit concerned about how this is being handled, as Crowborough has had so much publicity of the situation we have here. 44,000 would be the equivalent to those 2 villages. I just want to close with one thing, and this is another plea, partly from Crowborough and me as an individual in Crowborough who's lived here for 38 years. I ask you, please, can you reach out to all your friends and family all over the country that you may have. They may not be affected yet, but we can see what's coming out last week. This is starting to spread across this country. We desperately need to raise this money. it would be an absolute tragedy if we fell over now at the last specks. Thank you very much.
Yay! Yes.
If you want to donate to the Crowborough Shield campaign for the judicial review, they're very easy. You can either go onto the Crowborough Shield Facebook page, and the link is pinned at the top, or you Google Crowd Justice 600 and it will be the first hit that comes up. You can donate that on there anonymously. It's very simple to do. And we really look forward to your support. We desperately need to get this last bit of money to get this action into court.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you very much.
It's been a while, Crowborough. How is it?
Yay!
Just quickly, I'm sure you've probably all heard about the story of the little 2-year-old girl who has just tragically had her life taken in Chertsey by that of, and I'm going to use how GB News described this man, a French national from Africa, I believe, something like that. So it's a very twisted narrative. Basically, he's a migrant who's travelled through France, gained citizenship, national.
Yeah.
He's now a French national. Sorry, I don't know the terminology, but for whatever reason, he is here. He is in Chertsey, and he has now been arrested and allegedly taken the life of a little girl who is just 2 years old. He has also allegedly been prosecuted, he's going to be prosecuted for the rape of a child under the age of 13. I'm taking that it's probably the same little girl, because there's no other child mentioned. So the way they word it is that they have charged him with the rape of a child under 13. So read into that as you wish. But obviously things are getting very bad, and they're just going to continue to get bad. And people really do need to realise that this is affecting every town, every community. Just last night in Tunbridge Wells, another incident where a mother had to go and collect her daughter from a nightclub because 2 men had threatened to kill her outside and waited up the road. It's everywhere. We need you. We've got a big protest on Saturday. I've supported Crowborough since this started, and I've never ever asked any of you to attend. And I really would be ever so grateful if as many of you as possible can come down and join us on Saturday in Dover. Numbers are what makes us be listened to. If there's just a few of us there, we get laughed at. But everyone's talking about this. It's on everyone's lips. Everyone now needs to get up and actually do something. Please support outside your local town. We need you. We are the Pink Ladies. We will be protesting against all illegal migration that is coming into the country down in Dover on Saturday, 1:30. Please be there.
Yeah.
Hi, just a quick message from the Pink Ladies. We are needing all of you to join us next week. We've got a big protest on Saturday down in Dover. It starts at 1:30 on Shakespeare Beach. We need every single one of you, as many mums, as many dads, aunties, uncles, sisters, everybody. We need as many people to come and join us next week. So 1:30, the 4th of July, when America celebrates their freedom, we fight for ours. Please join us.
Thank you.
So, if those who don't know me, my name is Michael Lunn. I'm a district councillor for Wilden, and I'm also one of the newly elected East Sussex County Councillors. I read the speech, but actually I'm probably going to move away from it, because what I want to share with you is that both myself and Andrew Wilson have been inside the camp. And I want to share with you some of my observations of what I saw and the concerns. So, first thing I saw, there's a lot more in there than I ever imagined. It's pretty much close to capacity. And when you look at the nature of the management of the site, they are mixing up all the nationalities, all the religious groups in terms of the housing, and where they are contained in the commune areas, there is up to 2 security guys in every area where they are to prevent fights. They are trying to do this to contain them in terms of what's going on.
and after about 90 days, they are effectively, a decision is made whether they can stay or whether they go, but actually they do stay because they've got a 2-year appeal process which they can go on to. So after 90 days, they get moved on to what they call dispersal accommodation around the country. At the moment, there's none in Wealdon, at the moment, but they are very much likely to be dispersed across Wealdon. They're certainly being dispersed across the East Sussex area. So I was really concerned about that. The other issue is they're shipping them out to Crawley, 3 minibuses a day, and that's why most of them are contained inside the camp and not coming out. But I suspect once the judicial review is either completed or goes ahead or doesn't go ahead, as soon as the Home Office think they've got a green light, they're going to scale back things because it's costing them £1 million a month. It's a lot higher than hotels, and really we need the audit office to be literally conducting a full-blown audit on the costs of this running these camps. It's not as cheap as hotels, it's costing a lot more. So I believe that things are going to get worse in Crowborough. I think coming into the winter months is going to get really difficult because at the moment you walk into the camp, they're sitting on the grass, they're in groups, they're quite, it's quite nice, it's warm, they quite like the warm weather because that's where they're from. But when it gets to winter and it gets nasty and the wind, they're going to be looking to go elsewhere and they're not going to be running the minibuses as much. So where are they going to go? They're going to come into town. And there's hundreds of them in there, literally hundreds. I was absolutely shocked. What I was also shocked to learn is that there are 2 charities that are going in there on a regular basis, including district councillors and town councillors who are supporting them with English lessons. They've got lawyers in there to try and sort out their appeals, their asylum process. They're getting training, they're getting all kinds of stuff, all kinds of services. It's absolutely unbelievable, the support that they're getting. And my concern, do you remember Rachel Millwood, when we talked about the money that the Home Office, the Home Office was talking about giving Wealdon District Council £1,200 per migrant. Well, apparently that money, according to the Home Office, can only be spent on the migrants themselves and nothing to support the local community. We've challenged that. We've actually raised that with the Home Office and with our local MP to say that is not good enough. There are a portion of that money, which is about £680,000 per annum, should come to the community to appease what's going on. It should not be going to those local charities in that country. The other issue that me and Andrew are also raising is about, now that the change has been made, and again the Home Office has lied yet again about continuing the camp until 2030, there has to be regulations around planning. And I'm calling on the leaders of Wealdon District Council, which is Rachel Mild and James Partridge, to actually start doing something. No talk, actually do something for our community. Because at the moment they've done sweet FA. They've done nothing.
Yes.
So I would encourage you, do not lose faith. Please continue to put pressure on James Partridge and Rachel Millwood around the planning conditions, because at the moment they are breaching planning in terms of the permanency of the site. The other thing that I'm concerned about, at the moment they're talking about 540, I have no doubt that the Home Office is seeing this as a success. Shall I tell you why? Because there's been no problems. According to them, there's been no problems. There's been no problems in terms of the protests, there's been no problems inside the camp, even though there has. And so as far as they're concerned, it's a success. So I suspect they're going to look to expand it to up to 1,000 migrants in that camp. And I think they'll also look to make it permanent. So whilst we have got this government, it's going to be a real concern. And so that judicial review is absolutely important that we somehow get the funding together. I don't know how we do it, but try and get the funding to try and get that first phase of that judicial review in process. So I know it's hard, it's a lot of money, but my God, if we don't, we'll all be regretting it later on. So I think that's all I want to say today. Thank you very much, everybody. You continue to have our support, and Let's talk a little bit more about the national issue, because as you can imagine, Michael and I pay a lot of attention to what the government
actually doing here. But on Friday, the Home Office didn't just extend the training camp until 2030. It essentially admitted something. It said the quiet bit out loud. Government doesn't think it can solve this small boat crisis. If it did, it wouldn't be extending the use of this camp until 2030. Remember, this government only has a mandate until 2029. So they've extended the camp until 1 year after they won't be in office, and quite frankly, I think there'll probably be a general election next year anyway, so maybe we can get rid of that. But, for years, successive governments have promised to get the asylum crisis under control. New ministers, new announcements, always the same promise. The hotels remain open. The government says that they've shut a few of them and that they're closing the asylum backlog. But actually, what's happening, as Michael just said, is the appeals backlog is just growing. So these quick decisions are being made, in 3 months. But the Inspectorate of Border Security and Immigration put out a release on Friday night, criticising the quality of the decisions that are being made, not just in the interview process. The asylum decision quality is poor, and if memory serves, something like 54% of the decisions are all open to effective challenge in the appeal process because the initial decision making is so abysmally poor. So that costs us more, and as Michael said, the people that are appealing these processes, they are in dispersal accommodation. They are in and amongst communities up and down the country. So Crowborough has been told to prepare for another 4 years. And that's not solving the crisis, it's planning for one. The government stopped planning to solve it, it's just going to manage the asylum crisis now. And the extension of Crowborough isn't a solution, it's a contingency plan. So tomorrow, or later this week, Shabana Mahmood is expected to announce another of her initiatives. And her idea is to implement a much wider scheme similar to the one that we had in 2022 when the Ukrainian war commenced with Russia invading Ukraine. And Crowborough opened its doors to a lot of Ukrainian refugees through that process. And they were families that came over here. Mothers, children, and the town opened its doors, and we were a welcoming community, and we are a welcoming community. But Ukraine is unique. And trying to apply that model to Sudan, Afghanistan, Syria, and elsewhere is a completely different proposition. And I don't think it will stop the boats. And people say they have to live somewhere. And of course they do, but that isn't the question that comes up in my mind. The question is why, after years of promises and billions of pounds, communities like Crowborough, and now communities of Oxfordshire, Suffolk, and Yorkshire, are being asked to pay the price. So every failed government policy has to happen somewhere. But let us say this, opposing the camp doesn't make people unkind. Wanting to secure our borders doesn't make people inhuman. Kindness is not pretending that a difficult problem doesn't exist. And Crowborough has become a symbol of the national failure of this government to control our border. So I'm going to leave you with this. This has never been about who these men are. It has always been about what the government has become. A government that asks ordinary communities like ours to pay the price for their extraordinary failures. Thank you.
Everybody.
One more thing.
Please take that we should do this on my birthday next year. You do a long time. Thank you very much, Crowborough, for everything you do. So appreciated.
Bring cheers for Gary! Hip up! Hip up! Hip up! Come on for that! Hip up!
don't look very edible.
Very old chapel there.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Party line.
What a beauty.
There's no chance of it in the box, is it?
How you doing, mate? Yeah, mate. All good.
Thank you.